So I own over 1,000 books, which kind of begs the question, am I a crazy person? And maybe more importantly, which ones are my favorite? Probably one of the more memorable books I've ever read was Dune by Frank Herbert. One of the most engrossing stories I have ever come across. It tells the story of this family that goes to this planet called Arrakis, and they take over this planet for this empire, and then they get betrayed. So a book that I never thought I would really enjoy, mainly because I don't really read these kind of books. It's a memoir by this guy named Phil Knight, and I honestly did not know who this guy was when I picked up this book. But it turns out he's the guy who founded Nike. And this book tells the story of how he went from just a college student to founding one of the largest shoe companies on earth. And it is a incredibly well-written book. It really is. And it goes into so much depth of all the things that happened. And it's crazy, all the betrayals that went on. And it's just an engrossing book. And I highly recommend it to anyone who just wants to read a true story that is incredibly interesting and well written. So Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. This book is the first and only Agatha Christie book I have ever read, believe it or not, and it's absolutely incredible. It is a great book. It pretty much defines a whodunit. There are so many movies that have been made over the decades since this book has written that you would never realize are actually based off of this book. They're like little offshoots of this book, because this book is pure brilliance. You're guessing all the way into the absolute end about who is actually the bad guy here. It is an incredible book. It keeps you guessing, and it stands out as a book that I highly recommend to anyone looking for a fantastic read. Isaac Asimov's Foundation. This book is probably my favorite book of all time. I hadn't heard of it until I was well into my adult years, and I came across this book on my mom's bookshelf. And I was like, what is this? And I read it in one sitting flat. It is a fantastic book. It tells a story about this guy who predicts that this galactic empire is going to collapse. And he sets in motion these chain of events to rebuild the empire after its demise. It is a truly unique book, and there's actually an entire series of them. And everyone that I have read so far, I have not read all of them, but everyone that I've read so far is just as good as the first one. It is just a whole series of great reads. And again, I can't stress enough how great this book is.